I was literally going to open this up by being like, I feel like every time I open up every single video, it's always like, last week was rough, I hit a bit of a wall recently, and I feel like that's all I open with. And I was going to open with like, I feel like that's all I open with. Like, every week is a rough week, and I obviously am getting nowhere, and I never take my own advice, whatever. And then I got this TikTok recommended for me, I guess. I keep having to say recommended like it's on YouTube. The point is, I saw a TikTok and it was this guy and he was like, there's so much romanticization of healing on the spiritual journey, which is great, and it is a great thing and it is a good thing, but it's also like no one really talks about how hard it is, and it can be really hard to integrate all of these new things that you're learning about yourself and integrate all of these like quite positive things, because when you've experienced so much stress or dysregulation for a long time, or whatever it is that you've experienced, it can be a very overwhelming experience that can be met with a lot of resistance. And I was like, you know what, great, I'm out here debunking the whimsy. I'm out here being real. Every week is rough, but also every week is also kind of good. Like, we're always moving forward, we're never moving back, even if it feels like at the time we are, but we're not. We're always moving forward. That being said, yes, I did have a moment where I was like, this is so confusing, because I'm making all of these videos about self-growth and discovery and, you know, quote, trying to improve myself and my life and get it all together, and yet all I say and all I hear from myself is things are still shit. And I think there is an element to this where I think maybe I don't take my own advice, and maybe I need to start taking my own advice a little bit more seriously, and not to crawl up my arse so far, but I think it is pretty good advice that I give, so I think I need to start taking it. Also, I think that's what healing is that most of the time healing and life in general is just trying to do good or quote better for yourself, and it can fall into this trap of constantly feeling like you're going backwards, or you're not in the space that you're meant to be yet, or you're not in the space that you would like to be yet, whether it be physical space or head space or whatever. But I think part of healing is also realizing that, hey, even though it constantly feels like I'm going backwards, and it constantly feels like things are going badly, and it feels like I never really achieve that much, or I'm getting anywhere, actually, I am doing good things, I am making, quote, progress, and in the grand scheme of things, I am in a much better position than I think I am. Because a lot of the time, life can feel like you're going up shit creek without a paddle, and everyone else is on this cleaner, faster side of the river, and they all have like the newest technologies and the boats and the yachts, and I don't know about sailing, sorry, but they all have like the newest yachts and this big team of people and this big crew, and they're all drinking champagne, and you're just like in this little dinghy that has like a hole in it and water's coming up, and there's like a shark behind you, and you don't know why a shark's in a river, but hey, you're just gonna go with it. And you can look at it like that, or you can look at it as, hey, we're just taking the more relaxed scenic route where we can enjoy ourselves and see some really interesting, cool wildlife along the way. I got this tarot reading video TikTok come up on my TikTok page a while back, and normally I don't really stick around for them anymore, because all I get now is that I'm gonna be famous, and I'm an introvert, like I don't want that. But anyway, or like it's like, oh, there's someone famous that like you're a celebrity to them, and I'm like, I have 2 friends, I don't leave the house, I live in the middle of nowhere, like that's clearly not for me, I'm moving on. But there was this one tarot card reading that I did kind of stay for, because it was this woman and she was talking about how she was like, Spirit is saying, I know you want to take the elevator, but your spirit guides are saying to take the stairs. And I kind of knew instantly what my guides, I guess, were trying to tell me. And I kind of got this idea of like to stop rushing, to stop stressing, to stop trying to get there really, really fast and get here really, really fast, and let's just slow down, let's take the stairs. Because yes, in the grand scheme of things, at face value, the elevator is a lot less work, it's a lot less effort, it's really quick. But if we take the stairs, it's a lot more effort. But hey, looking at it a bit deeper, the stairs, right? Exercise is good. We can gather our thoughts. We don't have to rush. We could just take a little jaunt up the stairs. I think as well, what I thought of was that walking has always been good for my anxiety. When I get really, really anxious, I can walk for just hours and hours. When I used to live with my best friend, I would be like, oh, I'm just going out for like a little walk. She would be like, oh, cool. And then cut to it being like pitch black outside and her being like, Mol, where are you? Are you coming back? So what I thought about taking the stairs meant was like, okay, we're gonna have this little extra time to gather ourselves. We're gonna have this little extra bit of movement and release of nerves before, you know, I get to the top or get to my floor or wherever I'm going. I'm not gonna rush, and I'm just gonna gather myself and get prepared before I get there, because at first I was annoyed by this analogy because my first reaction, my first instinct, I guess, logical instinct was like, well, the elevator is quicker, it's less effort, it's more comfortable, some might say. And I was thinking, if there is an option to have it cushy and have it the easy way, why the hell would my spirit guides want me to do the hard option? Why would they want me to go through all of that when there's an easier option available to me? And then it clicked. It's not about getting it easy. It's not about it being easy. It's not about it there being a possibility of getting there faster. It's about getting me centered, getting me calm and collected, being grounded enough and being myself enough and being in my body enough, knowing how to handle my emotions. Because I could take the stairs and I could have some time to calm and ground myself and read through my notes or release some of my nervous energy by walking, metaphorically, of course. Or I could rush up the elevator and not feel as collected and not feel as calm and centered and maybe be squashed by other people taking the elevator and maybe then forget myself and start comparing myself. So yeah, I'm rambling and I don't know if I'm making any sense and this sounds crazy, but the conclusion that I got was it's not about getting there faster or slower, because whatever happens, I'm going to get to where I need to be / want to be, right? But the question is, do I want to rush to get there and maybe feel so constrained by time and maybe get so stressed that I miss my floor and, you know, get crowded by all these other people that are squashed in the elevator? Or do I want to take the stairs, enjoy my surroundings, notice where I'm at, notice which floor I'm on, have some time to myself, to get off at the right level the first time around because I'm not distracted by anything else. So I'm arriving as prepared and as ready as I can be. Of course, there will still be some hesitancy and nerves because, you know, it's like moving forward, it's a new thing, moving through life, and change is sometimes scary. But I'm gonna have maybe a better way of feeling into that fear and the anxiety and not letting it overwhelm me. So yeah, sorry, I feel like that was a very long and overcomplicated way of explaining that metaphor, but hopefully it made sense and you got something from it. But my point is, I realised that I'm not enjoying the process. I wasn't enjoying the process. I wasn't fully feeling things that were coming up for me this week, which is a pattern I've spoken about many times before. I think it was like the whole point of the last video I posted was that I wasn't feeling my emotions. But that's okay. I do tend to ignore my emotions a lot. I push them down, I pretend everything's okay, or I fly away, which if you don't know, flying away is just my way of saying like I dissociate. I fly away and it's frustrating. It's a habit I need to stop. I spoke about this last week. I tend to do this when I open myself up to new possibilities of things happening in my life, changing my life, going good. The mental image of, sorry, this just came into my head and I am like a very visual person and learner, but the image that just came into my head would be me in a race car and I'm on the starting line and the light just went green, or there's a girl or a guy waving a flag to go. I don't know how car races start, I'm so sorry. I just thought of Riverdale with like Cheryl waving the flag, sorry, anyway. But the image I have is like me in my like, let's say like my baby pink car, because I love the colour baby pink, in my little baby pink car, and I'm at the starting line and, you know, I can go, like the race has started, bang, we're off. And, you know, I've got the best car, I've got the best gear, I know all about racing, I really enjoy it. For the sake of this metaphor, I really enjoy it and I know all about it. There's the universe in the stands, it's cheering me on, it's telling me I've got this, it's telling me I can go, and I'm just on the starting track, and it's just me. Like, I'm guaranteed to win. I'm guaranteed to get where I need to be. I know this racetrack like the back of my hand, and I have this just deep inner knowing that I'm going to get to the finish line and that everything's going to turn out okay. And I know that I'm going to have the best time, and I know that I'm really, even though like maybe the adrenaline's coming up and I'm a bit anxious, I know that I'm really going to enjoy this race. But for some reason, I just have this pit in my stomach and I'm not moving. I just don't want to go. The universe is in the stalls like, girl, you've got this, go. And I'm sitting in my little cute baby pink racing car like, I'm not moving. I'm not going anywhere. And I didn't really know why I was being like this until the other night when I was journaling, like always. Which, by the way, sorry, side note, I've almost finished my journal. I got my journal from, this is so random, but Asda, like a year ago now. It is really thick. I don't even know how many pages it has, but it's probably like the thickest journal I've had. And it's so much thicker than any other journal I've bought before. Because normally I finish journals in like 4 to 6 months. I started my current journal in the last week of April last year. It is now the last week of March and I have 4 pages left. Honestly, I'm kind of done with this current journal and I have been for a long time. This journal for a while seemed so never ending and it stressed me out because I'm one of those weird people who likes to throw things out if I feel like they have bad energy attached to it. And for context, I hated last year. Like, I hated every bit of last year, and my journal isn't some like cute place where I stick like cute little collages and talk about what fun I had with my friends today. No, my journal is where I trauma dump every night because I cannot afford therapy right now. And so every little sad ass thought that crosses my brain and has crossed my brain last year is in that thing, and I kind of just want it gone. Like, don't get me wrong, thankful it was there for me throughout the shit show of 2025, but now I just want a new one to hopefully write some nicer things in. But anyway, I digress. What I was saying is that the other night I was journaling in my nearly full journal that I'm very excited to replace. And I really wanted to understand why I wasn't moving, and I really wanted to understand why I was being so stubborn and so doubtful and just so awful. And I suddenly realised that it's because when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I was a lot more outgoing. I was as outgoing as an introvert can be, and I was a lot more confident. And some may say I was a lot more delulu. I was just a lot more trusting that everything was going to work out and that I was always going to make the right decision and that good things were happening for me. Despite the fact that I was very anxious, my teenage years were probably when I first developed anxiety, like mid to late teens. And at that time, I didn't really have a very clear understanding of mental health. I didn't really have a clear understanding of what was going on in my head. I wasn't really getting very much support, and I just felt quite alone with it. And you know, that along with just normal teenage stuff as well. So dealing with that and like looking back on all of that and dealing with it, I literally just had this thought of like, wow, what the hell happened to me? Like, why did I have that much going on inside my brain? And yet I still managed to be like so confident in my decisions and so trusting and just so like positive and like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I went like so far out of my comfort zone at times, even though I was so scared. And, you know, I did these things anyway because I knew it felt right, I knew it felt aligned, and it was the only thing that I wanted to do, and I couldn't picture myself doing anything else. You know, and I was sat there thinking and writing, where is the girl that said yes to things even if she didn't really want to? Even if they scared her, or, you know, even though she thought, well, I might not enjoy it at the time, but you know what, it's going to help me grow, it's going to help me be confident. And, you know, you never know what might happen. Where has that girl gone? And why am I like this now? It suddenly dawned on me that I have kind of lost faith in things getting good, and I've really just closed myself off from everything. Like, my heart space physically feels closed and just miserable and not open to anything. And so I guess that's why it's so hard for me to even say yes to things and trust and believe in ideas, because I close myself out and off from every possibility before it's even given a shot. And I think I've reached this kind of mental wall where I feel kind of like giving up on what I want, because my mindset has been very much, well, those things didn't work out in the past, so why would things that I want now work out? Or, well, I put myself out there in the past and didn't get the opportunities I wanted, or, didn't meet the people I wanted, so why would it happen now? Before I was so scared, but I was also so excited to see what was going to happen. But now I've kind of reached this kind of lull in my life where I'm still scared, but more so I'm just so disappointed before I even try, because I've been so disappointed before. So I don't really have that mindset of like, well, anything could happen, and like, oh my gosh, like maybe something really good's gonna happen. Like, I kind of have done it so many times where I'm like, well, now I don't know, I tend to just, I guess, subconsciously think, well, it's never worked out before, so why is it just suddenly going to start working out now? And I know that sounds like such a sucky attitude to have, and I know I sound like such an ungrateful brat right now, because in reality I do have a lot to be thankful for, and in the grand scheme of things my life isn't that bad. But I just think I have this really high standard of what I want my life to be, and sometimes it is a bit off-putting to look back on the risks or the leaps that I was taking, to look at how many times I did something that seemed so out there or scary or uncomfortable, and all of the roads I took out of all of the roads that I could have taken, to just now be back in the situation that I am, where I'm like living with my parents, and I'm after uni and I'm struggling to get a job, and I'm feeling unconfident, and I'm questioning my abilities to function as an adult, and barely having any friends and not seeing my friends that often. And I don't know, it just feels a bit lackluster and a bit frustrating, because it feels like I did all of those things, I made all of those decisions, took all of those paths, took all of those leaps, just to end back up at square one. It's confusing, it's annoying, it makes me doubt myself, it feels like nothing's working. When I was a teenager and when I was doing all of these things outside of my comfort zone and saying yes to all of these opportunities, I was also just starting to get into spirituality and just starting to discover and explore my own personal beliefs and what spirituality meant to me. And there was a spiritual YouTuber that I used to watch, and he kept saying, leap and the net will appear. Like, that was like his catchphrase or whatever, or like his thing to like encourage you to get outside of your comfort zone. He just kept always saying, leap and the net will appear. The idea of like taking a leap of faith and then like the universe will catch you, or the universe will reward you, or something like that. And so every time I was scared or anxious or nervous to do something that I really wanted to do, I would just say that to myself over and over again. And it gave me so much power and so much strength to go forward and with excitement and be confident, because I was so sure I was being guided or led, or that either way, whatever happened, everything was going to work out for the best. Now, currently, that statement has kind of lost all its power for me. Like, I don't really believe it. I kind of roll my eyes at it. I don't feel like the net has ever really appeared for me, and currently I don't feel like it ever will. I know I'm still so young and things are bound to change, and this is just a little part of my life, and things don't stay the same forever, and I want to believe that my future is going to be amazing and great and feel better than this. But all we have is the here and now, and sometimes the here and now feels very sucky, and I think, you know what, that's okay too. I think it's okay to feel a bit sucky sometimes. I think it's okay to feel a bit bad and a bit shit. I think it's important to acknowledge when we feel a bit bad, but I also think it's important to help yourself too, because right now, me being miserable and me being so closed off that I don't even give myself a chance to make my life better or do anything I want to do is certainly not helping the situation at all. So I've been really trying to open up my heart space now. I've been really trying to focus to say certain affirmations about receiving, and that, it's safe for me to receive. It's safe for me to do things and to, be open to the possibilities, whatever they may be. I went on a walk the other morning and I just saw lots of flowers now, because it's spring obviously, and I just really enjoyed seeing all of the flowers and all of the colours. There was a lot of baby pinks and a lot of yellows, and I really enjoyed the visuals of that. I really love baby pink especially, and then yellow is just such a bright and happy colour. I really enjoyed the visuals of the flowers like opening up and blooming, and I don't know, those visuals just like came to me, really stuck with me, and I kind of used that image as a way to help me visualise my own heart space opening again. And then the next morning, I spent the whole morning just meditating and listening to these frequencies and these sound bowls and these guided meditations for being open to abundance and what I want my life to look like and what the feeling is that I want my life to feel like. Because in this guided meditation, she was talking about excitement and kind of holding on to that feeling of excitement and really feeling into it in order to attract more of your dream life into your reality. But I found that actually the emotion and the feeling that I had and that I wanted and that I knew I felt in my dream life was peace. So I'm really trying to lean into that feeling of peace and do more things that help me feel at peace. I know, of course, joy and excitement are really important emotions too. And I think that they have also been really helpful in helping me open my heart space. While I was out on that walk, I was also just laughing a lot to myself because honestly, I do find myself pretty hilarious. I probably looked a bit weird to the people walking by, just laughing and smiling to myself, especially because where I live, people just don't bloody smile at all. Like, I smile at so many strangers and they'll either look at me so disgusted or it's an old person walking their dog and they'll have like this look of utter shock that one of the youths have acknowledged them. Sometimes they'll just stare at me or, they'll quickly smile when the shock wears off. I laughed a lot that day because when I got home, I watched a couple episodes of The Big Bang Theory. It's kind of one of my comfort shows. I don't laugh out loud at the episodes, but it's a show that I watched when I was younger. I of course didn't really get many of the jokes back then, but it's just a show I enjoy. It comforts me a lot. But it was the episode where the guys were on a camping trip and they accidentally eat these cookies and get high, and I don't know why I just found that episode so funny, and I was properly laughing to the point where my stomach hurt, and I honestly can't remember the time last when I laughed so much my stomach hurt. So I was very thankful that I got that bit of joy and that laughter. I think just having a good laugh and having something that just makes you laugh is so important in life, because I tend to get so caught up in trivial things, or I tend to take things way too seriously. I tend to beat myself up a lot or get lost in the bad things happening. But I think obviously it's so important to be reminded of joy and the good things and to not take life too seriously or yourself too seriously, and just sometimes recognize that, hey, it's not that deep. Also, laughter just grounds me. It brings me back down into my body, and I don't know, I guess it just helps you find a joy in the present moment. It helps you be present. So I just think laughter is a beautiful thing, and I'm really thankful that I was able to be reminded of that joy and find that joy. And I think it really helped me to get started with opening up again and feeling safe enough to do so, and recognizing that there will be many things that will happen in life that I'm not going to enjoy or I'm not going to like, and they may feel like failures or like setbacks, but actually it's not that bad, it's not that deep. And I have this belief deep down that I always keep coming back to, and that is that actually I think we're all doing a lot better than we think we are, and I think we just need to keep going because it will all come together very soon. I've been yapping for far too long now, so I will let you go and I will talk to you soon, hopefully.